Hi, Scorpio. Welcome to your reading for May. This is your love reading for May. Welcome. If you want to enter to win a free reading, please do so. I'll announce the winner of that reading on 5/5. I'm going to announce the winner in a post tonight for the 4/24 reading. I still haven't chosen yet, but there's a few hours left, so I'll do that right after this. That Scorpio full moon brought out some pretty wonky energies, but in a good way. I feel like the sort of last bits of the deep, dark, sticky stuff from like old ego shed ego identities is like getting scraped out. I think it was the Capricorn reading where I talked about it being like a filling, like the dentist goes in and scrapes it all out and then fills it. Yeah. You're being filled with love and light, Scorpio. We got this. All right. What does my Scorpio collective need to know? Spirit, please protect this reading. Send any negative energy back to sender, transmuted tenfold for the greatest good of all and harm to none. Archangel Michael, please bring clear messages through in this reading. Mother Mary, please bring compassion through in these messages. Amen, amen. So mote it be. So right before I started this reading, I was thinking, or I was getting a download that you might be having like a crown chakra opening experience. The moon reversed. Yeah. You might be realizing your psychic gifts, or just, yeah, experiencing sensitivity to subtle energies. And this might be, sort of interfering with your, even like your desire to connect with another person in love. And I mean, this is your love reading for May, but that doesn't have to mean romantic love. So just keep that in mind. Take it as it resonates, as usual, and leave the rest. What's crossing this moon reverse energy? Look at this card. It's pretty. For my Scorpio collective, the Five of Cups upright. Okay, that's interesting. You might check out Capricorn's reading. They had the Five of Cups upright in the main or overall energy. So crossing you is like you're in the midst of, what's interesting about this Five of Cups is like, oh, I'm just dropping it. You're in the midst of like knowing your wine is spilled, knowing this one's full of water, and then you have two cups still, and you're not exactly sure what they're full of, but it's like these are the last two cups you need to get rid of at the same time. Like the cups are standing on his cloak, and he needs to move, he needs to go somewhere, but he doesn't want to like topple them over because who knows what's in them. But this is also the water into wine card. It's the card of transmutation at the center of the suit of cups, or at least the, ace through 10, which is Scorpio's superpower. So you're sort of like maybe in the thick of transmuting some thick energies, I want to say, like especially with the full moon we just had. You may have, I was listening to, I think it was Scorched Earth. She had a really lovely reading about the overall energies for this week. I would highly recommend checking it out. But it was about just being triggered and like things coming up for us to address them, and kind of seeing like how, first of all, how and what triggers you to bring up these old emotions, but also like like to realize a new perspective. Like for instance, for me this week, I had a big trigger come up with somebody at work, and in addressing the fact that I was triggered, she became triggered, and her response was way more out of line than if I had like just not said anything, and it actually like compounded the issue about 20,000 fold. So I was like, wow, first of all, there's the idea that what is it, what you're paying attention to, you're manifesting more of. Where attention goes, energy flows. That's it. So it was like I gave my attention to the trigger, and then it just like unfurled in front of me almost instantly. Um, but also just seeing like how the things that were coming up for her were like so unconscious. Like the things that she was saying to me were so full of like, you this and you that, and like while she's currently doing the things she's accusing me of, it was like so much projection. It was incredible. I think this is also this moon reverse energy. Like I just couldn't even, for the ego identity in me was like, I can't even believe what I'm seeing or like hearing right now. And then like the spiritualist in me was like, oh, this is crazy cool. Like this is messed up, but also I can see what's going on and how this woman is expressing herself from her place of pain. And like I wanted to be seen for being triggered, you know, and I am seeing her. It's giving me this opportunity to like offer that thing to someone else. And it was really I hadn't had an experience like it in a while. The Queen of Wands at the bottom of the deck, she's highly intuitive, highly magical, beautiful, attractive. This is the tools you're working with. These are the things available to you right now. You know what you want. Look at this, like this cat-like grin on her face. She is like, oh, you. Okay. So this is your love reading, Scorpio. You may have your eye on somebody, or you might just be sort of like cultivating your space with this like come hither stare. What's in your past energies? The Four of Cups. Wow, that's appropriate. So the Four of Cups is in your past. The crossing you card is the Five of Cups. And in order to like sort of move forward, you have to transmute this subtle energies card. Okay. Wow, this is a trip. Um, he's holding his right wrist, which indicates it might have like a bit of an injury. I had a injury in my right wrist like in 2021. I had to change careers, and it's been like a really difficult journey. Um, so I was like, whoa, that's pretty intense. My sister and I were also talking about today how sometimes when you're in pain or your body doesn't do what you want it to, um, because of limitations, whatever those may be, like disability or injury, or I don't know, maybe you're experiencing like mental illness, or I don't know, you haven't like given yourself enough nutrients or something. Um, it can be difficult to feel enthusiasm. You can feel depression for sure. And so, no matter what opportunities the universe hands you, you're kind of like, yeah, I'm good. Like, I don't really want to reach out for anything else. I'm already injured. You're kind of licking your wounds. Okay. Rising, or, oh, the Six of Cups. Okay. So, this is inner child stuff, some of it. This is your crowning energy. This is in your crown. So, you might be with this like subtle energy stuff that you're becoming aware of, realizing that like since you were a kid you've been sensitive, for instance, and like those gifts have been shut off for a long time. I was going to say, when I was telling you that story about the woman at work, that it was a moment of clarity I hadn't really felt since I was a child. Children have this way of seeing truth and like seeing through bullshit because they haven't been conditioned yet. And I should have just said something initially, but yeah, this is what it's reminding me of. It's like you're kind of getting back to this like truth. This came up in the Scorched Earth reading as well. She talked about objective truth versus subjective truth, and how the energies in this week are like holding us accountable for reconciling with objective truth. It's a really interesting reading. I highly recommend it. Okay, coming in for you, the Page of Pentacles. Look at this Page of Pentacles. He is very serious. what is going on with this guy? He is like, I'm holding this pentacle. I'm stepping forward. I'm watching every step. Okay, look. She's like, come hither. And he's like, I'm coming. I don't know if any of you have ever seen Kung Pao enter the fist. But I'm sorry, chosen one, I'm coming. So ridiculous. I'm so sorry. That's for somebody for sure. We're just gonna move on with this reading. Wow. Okay. Can you see all of these? Almost. Okay. So I'm gonna block off the nudie ones. But you've got the Chariot reversed on the bottom. This is how other people are seeing you. Other people are seeing you as like stuck. You're seeing yourself as highly intuitive. You're like, I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm working with spirit, bitches. Like, don't even try me. Don't test me. Your hopes and your fears are that you're going to really have to defend yourself in this position, and that you may also feel like you're becoming exhausted. But the good thing is that the 8 of Wands comes after the 7 of Wands, and it's like all the wands are like flying. It's the card of movement. You might feel like you are going to just defend yourself, defend yourself, defend yourself, and you have to move to another energy. This guy is also, he's on top of a mountain, but it almost looks like he's backed up to the edge of a cliff. That's interesting. His green tunic indicates that he's fighting with his heart, though. Orange on his shirt here is the color of the 2nd chakra. Green is the color of the 4th chakra. And then red is the color of the 1st. Safety, how we relate to others, our emotions. And then the joining of higher and lower self through compassion. The outcome is love. The divine masculine here is holding his, is that his heart? No, it's like his lung, like he's breathing. His element is fire and he's breathing. And then she is like in this rapturous sort of, I want to call it like a divine, almost like a divine madness, which is really appropriate for the element of the divine feminine. Yeah. And then this temperance angel behind them, it's almost like a nature god or goddess. That's really cool. Okay. So the outcome is love for you if you want it. It's a choice. You might have choices in love, or you might, with the 6 of Pentacles here and the lovers, have an opportunity for reconciliation, especially because it's very clear you've done the shadow work around, like, you might have like self-image distortions. This could be like body dysmorphia, or you just don't feel good about your looks necessarily, or you didn't in the past, and you kind of worked through the things that allowed you to feel that way. But as you dive into your emotions, or as you've dove into your emotions around why this was even a thing that you needed to get to in the first place, you're kind of like, oh man, emotionally, like I might be a little bit broken, and that's okay. I was also getting a download before this reading about that movie. Just the title came into my mind, Silver Linings Playbook. And the idea of that movie, right, is that she's kind of got like a messy history, and I think he does too. And they kind of like learn to be vulnerable with each other. Because I mean, it's interesting because I feel like people, especially when we're connecting with others, new people in our lives, or like seeing just people milling about doing their lives, we assume that they have it together in a way, like it, or I don't know, like just from appearances, right? You might see somebody and think, oh, they've got it together. But the truth is, and like with the story that started out this reading, just with my experience with this lady at work, everybody has something, right? Everybody has had an experience with something that left them feeling like this 4 of Cups, this 5 of Cups. That's why we have the tarot. They're called archetypal energies. They're called archetypes. They're conditions of the human experience that nearly everybody can relate to in one way, shape, or form. Which also reminds me of the notion of that objective versus subjective truth that we spoke about, and that the scorched earth woman spoke about. Ooh, Ace of Wands. This is a new beginning in your vital energy, potentially in your sexual energy. Like this might be a new person. Um, it might, yeah, it might be a connection with a new person with like this healed inner child on your end, and maybe even on theirs, or maybe you meet and like, okay, I want to know who's this lovers. The lovers. Are you kidding me? That's so great. This is a really cool love reading for you, Scorpio. You've got Ace of Wands, Six of Cups, Two of Cups, and then the lovers. So I mean, I always read cards like in a way that people can either you can relate to this by manifesting a new lover, right? With the Ace of Wands, especially, that can indicate like new energies. Or you can read this as like a new reconciliation with somebody from your past, right? Because you have a Six of Cups here. Or you can read it as like a healed version of yourself that's being given a new beginning, especially in your divine and creative gifts. So really take it as it resonates here. Spirit isn't going to tell me like this is this person or that person. It's really take it as it resonates is what it's coming down to. What's the Seven of Wands? Temperance reversed. Oh, okay. So you may have to, like, your fear is that you have to stand up for yourself, and you may have to sort of like step out of your comfort zone, especially if you're the kind of person or the kind of Scorpio who like likes to stay quiet, right? But the thing about Scorpios too is that when your stinger comes out, it's like lethal, right? Like they're lethal scorpions, and they're just these tiny little unassuming things. But when you back them into a corner and they feel like they need to defend themselves, like they're gonna defend themselves. Um, Somebody might be putting you in a position like that, and you're actually afraid of it because I think you're afraid of I think you're afraid of your own power. I think you're afraid, like, what if I go too far? Like I get this feeling here, like you're willing to put up with the consequences of your own actions because you've put up with them already. But and it's not even is somebody else willing. It's more like, are you willing to put somebody else in the line of fire to put up with your actions? You know what I mean? Which isn't very kind to yourself. Two of Wands reversed. Yeah, it's like you're not moving forward with something, you're holding your ground because you know or you feel with Temperance reverse that two cards came out. The Hierophant and the Eight of Cups reversed. Okay. Um there's something here about you like not being able to walk away or escape the like confines of tradition. Again, we talked about objective versus subjective truth. I feel that you keep bumping up against people's subjective truths. And it's like you want an objective truth. You want to engage in objective conversation or connection. And Eight of Cups reversed, it's like that isn't a thing. It doesn't happen. We're human beings, we're not like robots. We don't analyze perfectly a good portion of the time. Like this is you realizing that sometimes people's subjective truths like are wrong and it's better sometimes to just keep your mouth shut and like hear them and take what you can from them. You may not even be able to walk away, Eight of Cups reverse, from like something that's got like if you have a trigger, for instance, and you're in a work meeting, like you might not be able to get up and leave, you know. And while I think there's a part of you that was always potentially before like, I'm just gonna get up and leave, like whatever, I'll deal with the consequences. This is you being like, do I have to do that? It's like you kind of looking at your own actions or lack of action, like you're defensive, maybe you're extra defensive, or maybe you self-sabotage in ways because like you speak too quickly or sting too quickly, you know. But for one, I think that that is full of sort of like a lot of harsh self-judgment that comes from this inner child stuff we're talking about over here. But it's also steeped in like traditions that don't really, I don't know, they don't really cater to people's emotional health. Like our I don't know that our society is really has really historically been concerned about people's emotional health. I've seen things like kind of all over that talk about how, you know, for boomers, for instance, they were told not to complain and that to show emotion was like a sign of instability or mental illness, and it was like very frowned upon, and you could have all of your liberties and rights taken away for being um, like mentally ill. And sometimes mental illness was literally just a woman who was promiscuous um, and not married, you know, like, so this is, why did that come up? This is like King of Wands reversed. This is like, you know what you want, but you feel like you cannot take the actions to create that because tradition doesn't like condone the same emotional values. So what do you do about this? The High Priestess, the Six of Pentacles. Spirit might be calling on you to hold your ground, especially emotionally, especially with where you put your vital energy and your spiritual energy, and your emotional energy, because things are out of balance. Temperance reversed. And if you feel imbalanced, you're not the only one. There's definitely something here about like, you're not the only one. Perhaps many other people feel this way. Perhaps, like, especially if you're experiencing a situation where, like, just the one I was describing, where somebody reacts like inappropriately to you, like in a work environment, you may not be the only person who's experienced that from that person. You know, like it could be something that other people have experienced and y'all just like didn't say something. I don't know, how are you going to bring this into balance? Like intuitively, you know, oh, Seven of Pentacles, Six of Pentacles. You bring things into balance again by just sort of like holding your space, holding your ground, living in your spiritual truth. You have the Hierophant and the High Priestess here. You're extremely like intuitive, you're extremely psychic, and you're balanced in your ability to witness your own truth as well as other people's, because of this like self-deprecating nature that you have, where you're probably your own harshest critic, but that's allowed you this gift of being able to see like the projection from other people. The King of Wands reversed, I think that this is the projection card. Like when somebody is, if the King of Wands is upright, it's somebody who knows exactly what they want to do and does it. He doesn't need to talk about it, he doesn't need to tell anybody, he just boom does it. But this is like King of Wands reversed is somebody who's like, they talk about it, talk about it, talk about it, and they don't get it done. Or they talk about it, talk about it, talk about it, and like they're the ones doing the thing that they're like condoning, um, or not condoning rather. So this is a hypocrite essentially. And I don't know, you're just kind of witnessing, I think, the hypocrisy in the human condition, because technically we all are in some way, shape, or form hypocrites. And I feel like you feel blessed to be able to see this, especially as it has revealed things in yourself and you know how difficult the work is. It's given you some sort of like immense compassion for the people around you. And this is your love. This is your love that you're experiencing, is just like compassion for your fellow human being, for the human condition, for the things we go through and the things we hide and the things that we agree to sort of work on together in order to like keep the foundations of the civilization going. And I don't think that's any small feat. I think many of us take it for granted. And it's easy to say like capitalism doesn't work and things are corrupt and it's all a mess, right? But it's also astounding that we've made it like this far at all. Um, yeah, okay. If as you embrace this new perspective of compassion for yourself and others, which is really beautiful, by the way, I'm like really proud of my Scorpio collective here. You've all done like a lot of just incredible work, and I've been just reading for you for the last year or so, and I've seen like from darkness into just light and more light, and it's really lovely. There's of course hiccups along the way, but Six of Swords reversed. The Fool. Oh my god. Okay, this is you like willingly going into the fray, knowing now what you're dealing with, what you're capable of, what you're able to handle, what you witness. Like you're fully aware of your sensitivities, your like astral and like subtle energy capabilities, and you're taking on the responsibility of holding your energy and not taking action when somebody projects on you, because their projection is a lesson for you. And this is like a new journey for you. You got the Six of Swords reverse and the Fool. Sorry I didn't show you, but the Fool is like a brand new start for you. um Sorry, my camera's auto focusing, I don't know why it's doing that, but it's a brand new beginning for you. And I think it's really beautiful. I think the idea that it's almost like you're allowing somebody to project on you because you know there's no, it's not like you're victimizing yourself. You're not feeling victimized. You're not thinking this person is doing this to me. You're thinking this person is struggling with the things that they're struggling with. And whatever I'm doing by standing here in front of them and saying this thing has activated this response from them. And you're realizing, like, with like this Page of Pentacles, right? Like he's treading carefully. He's so aware of where he's walking. He's got one foot ready to move and the other is firmly grounded. You're like this Page of Pentacles with this new ability to feel and witness and like exude compassion. And you're just kind of stepping into it with this Fool energy. And it's allowing you to be like just so much more aware. It's almost like you're going to be able to read people like a book, that, or maybe you already can. And in this ability is like enhancing. You have the High Priestess here with the Torah, the Six of Pentacles. You know where things are equal in the give and take realm. You might be seeing 666 as confirmation of this message as well. Six Pentacles, Six Cups, and the Lovers. And then you have the Seven of Pentacles that was on top of that. You're just waiting. It's like you just, somebody wants to project and they want to do their thing, and you're just like standing there like this guy, like what's going on with this person? Just wait and see. I'm just waiting and seeing. And like you take the blessing, you take the lesson, and maybe you even are able to have the patience and compassion of course, to see past your own, like you certainly are able to have the patience and compassion to see past your own afflictions or victimizations or ego or whatever at that point, and see this person fully for like their human self, not just like what's wrong with this person. You're like, oh, I see, this person has experienced some things that I don't understand or I couldn't begin to understand, and they're operating from pain right now. And even if I could understand it, like I'm not them, you know, and I'm not going to ask them by opening it up. Like, I don't know, something came up the other day where it was like people might start to just open up to you if they don't already, like perfectly random strangers at the grocery store, or somebody you've barely known will just tell you things, like they just feel comfortable with you that way. um you're stepping into some sort of new responsibility, and it has to do with helping people curate their awareness of their shadow. And you're there because you've become aware of yours. And I think your last few readings have been things like your shadow becomes your familiar and stuff. Like you've really done the work to integrate and to work with like your own shadow aspects, and this is the sort of spiritual gift that comes with that. So Scorpio, let me know if this resonated with you. I'm really interested to see. I'm being drawn to okay, leadership. Okay, sorry, I dropped these cards and I'm gonna pick it up. So I went to pull the Universal Truths card, and this leadership one fell out. And I'm actually going to take it because I feel like what it is that you're doing by choosing to see others and listen to others instead of needing to be seen or heard is actually, first of all, making you seen and heard more regularly, because people will respect you more for being willing to like engage with them this way. But also it may put you in a position of leadership. So divine leadership follows the principles of the higher laws. You have the Hierophant and the High Priestess here. It is a commitment to unflinching truths, oh my gosh, with no manipulative agenda. Power must be free from ego, because ego translated is edging God out. These times are crying for exemplary leaders. Leaders must live it, then lead it. One must be honorable, humble, and have a sense of humor about their shortcomings. The art of leadership is the art of listening and learning. This is that Page of Pentacles. This is fully what you're doing. It's so cool. A good leader knows to establish a secure line of communication to a higher power, the Hierophant and the High Priestess again. Willing, wanting, and waiting for divine direction. To lead well is to heed well. Good leadership establishes a touchstone of noble virtue that cannot be denied or doubted. Remember, leadership is not exemplified by what we say, but in how we act and in who we are. That's lovely. All right, Scorpio, if you enjoyed this reading, please like, comment, share, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I love you all, and I'll see you next time.